What's going on, guys? This is Jason of Auglitical. I swim through the politics and jump and dive throughout the relationships so you don't drown too. As always, I am just a man just trying to bring common sense in a world where common sense isn't so common.
Developing this morning, growing outrage as a suspected killer charged in the murder of a Ukrainian immigrant avoids trial once again. A North Carolina judge found DeCarlos Brown mentally incapable of standing trial for the murder of Irina Zarutska. Surveillance video captured that attack. Investigators say you can see Brown stabbing Zarutska in the neck on that North Carolina light rail train last summer. And here's where it gets real crazy. Brown had been arrested 14 times before that incident, but avoided jail time in most of those cases and just walked free. He is currently in federal custody and could undergo yet another round of evaluations while the victim's family still waits for justice.
So, hot take, maybe to some people, as a person who sees something like this.
Jonathan Peternell was a pastor's son.
What the fuck? What the fuck? I literally paused it and it auto played anyway to something else. Come on now. Hot take again. Maybe a person who is not seen as fit, but has murdered somebody, and it's open and closed, and they have a history of doing crimes. Maybe it doesn't matter if they're fit or unfit. Maybe they should be put down. Again, on this channel, I am always going to be fair across the board. My stances don't change based on a skin color or based on how rich or how poor someone is or they're up. My stance is always going to be just. If we can sit there and cheer about that weird-ass pedophile, rapist, murderer who kidnapped that little girl in a FedEx truck, who also had a fucking history of being a pedophile, kidnapped that little girl, raped her, strangled her, and dumped her into a fucking river, and he's getting the death sentence. This guy should be getting the death sentence for what he did to Irina. Same, I don't care if he's mentally. I'm so sick and tired of they're gonna run with the mentally unwell thing. Hey, there's plenty of mentally unwell people walking the streets right now, ain't hurting nobody. There is a massive difference between a fucking senseless, violent crime and some bullshit happening by accident. This was no accident. This man did not fear for his life. This man was not in danger. He was a menace to society that was let go and slapped on a wrist 14 times. I truly do believe that's the system actually, and I've seen this. People who are people who are normal individuals are penalized so much harsher than people who are repeat offenders, people who just don't give a fuck. Because it would be unheard of for a normal person to have any semblance of a life after being arrested 3 times, 2 times. It's unheard of. And they're just walking free. And this is the craziest thing about it. The craziest thing about it is until this nation actually has this conversation, racial tensions are only going to get worse, because one side's going to look at the other side and be like, why do you get special treatment? The other side's going to look at the other side like, this is how it's always been with you guys, and you guys get away with bullshit. This is how it... For example, who was the football player with the glove? O.J. Simpson. Epstein. They're always going to look at each other because, again, for them, it's just to score political points. And they really don't want to actually get to the bottom of the shit. If we can't put down violent criminals doing senseless crimes, what are we doing besides speed running the collapse of civilization for the United States? Now, the crazy thing about this is I guarantee if I go into the commentary, because this is a relatively... No, this was 4 weeks ago. So this was 4 weeks ago. How am I just now being made aware of this? So this was 4 weeks ago. Let's look at the comments. Fines, huge fines for the 14 judges who let him out prior. Revenge for Irina. What the? There goes the smooth brain again. See, the funniest thing about this is these people who run this race accelerationist bullshit, who say stupid shit like this, right? Who wouldn't bust a grape in a fruit fight. These type of individuals, they put they put on the faces of the people that they didn't even like or care about until they can use them as political pawns, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Charlie Kirk, a lot of them didn't even like Charlie Kirk when he was alive because he was against the hate that they push. Now they have his face as their profile picture. You know the ones, Crisis King, America First types. Now they wear his face on their profiles. Irina, I keep saying her name wrong. Irina, I keep forgetting how to say her name. They didn't give a fuck about that girl. They didn't give a fuck about Charlie. They even, let me put it to you like this. People who talk like this, right? They don't view a Charlie Kirk or an Arena any different than they would view, let's say, Chud the Builder, if he ends up becoming a skid mark, or he ends up taking a dirt nap, or he actually runs into the people that he claims he wants to run into, though he purposely avoids. They will try to sit there and they will view somebody like that the same way we would view somebody like Charlie Kirk, or some woman getting senselessly fucking murdered, or that little girl that was killed in the back of the UPS or the FedEx truck. I forgot what he worked for. They're not good people. And again, racial tensions are only going to get worse until we have a serious conversation across the board and it's fair for everyone. Transparent and fair. And we don't have rogue fucking territories talking about some, oh, we're going to give this person a slap on the wrist for stabbing somebody. He gets out in 2 years. He gets out in 1 year to go stab up a bunch of people in a school or some crazy shit like this. I don't care if he's mentally unwell. Put him down. Put him down. What is this? A hatchet swinging man is terrorizing his NY. Is this man in a dress? You see this, right? Mental illness. So remember before when I was telling you guys that you got a lot of mentally ill people that they'll be dressed in trans, like drag, and not drag, but they'll be dressed looking like trans or whatever like that because they're mentally unfit, mentally unwell. I see something, man. That shit look crazy as hell. Anyway, I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.